Odisha presently is a $118 billion economy. At present, we are 3% of the national GDP. We are hoping to take it to a $500 billion economy by 2036, at which point we are hoping we would be around 4% of the national GDP. We have been able to bring out 66 lakh people out of the below poverty line. We are utilizing those women for activities which are gendered stereotype defying activities.
Odisha government has made communities at the core and the driver of the program, not just the recipient. It's always a saying that what works in India works for the world. I would say what works in Odisha works for the world too. That's a fantastic story wherein a private sector is supporting the communities to grow and government is being just a moderator.
We set for ourselves a mantra, which was zero casualty, period. Zero casualty. So now it's like a well-oiled machine where the moment we get the forecast that a cyclone is on its way, all the SOPs are set.
So with an investment of around about 100 million sterling, we have mobilised 1 billion sterling in additional funding that makes those enterprises sustainable. And the money just keeps coming and those communities are being transformed long after that initial intervention begins. And that to me is a case study on scalability and sustainability. You come in with an idea. Sometimes the communities don't know why you're there. What are you trying to get out of it? The private sector are there. What are they trying to get out of it? You have to build trust.
Welcome to India Development Campus. I am your host Sudipto Day. In this series, we put the spotlight on India's development story. We reach out to change makers and policy shapers to bring to you the thought process behind successful people-oriented development programs. In the first episode, we focus on Odisha, a state known for its cultural richness, abundance of natural resources, and human capital. Today, Odisha stands on the cusp of a historic transformation journey. The government has set an ambitious vision to make Odisha a $1.5 trillion economy by 2047, the year India celebrates 100 years of its independence. For Odisha, the year 2036 will be another important landmark as the state completes 100 years of its formation. The vision document sets the goal of achieving a 500 billion economy that year. As Odisha embarks on this transformational journey, we try and understand what it means for the development sector, especially its model of unlocking regional potential with support from local communities, especially women. Our guests are specialists in the social development space in their own ways. Let me introduce Ms. Garg, who has the unique distinction of being the first woman IAS officer from the state to occupy the position of Development Commissioner. Her work in water conservation and flood control, keeping the needs of the community at the center, has received a lot of accolades and recognition internationally. Anuji, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure being here.
As special guest in this episode, we have Sinead Magill, CEO Palladium Global. Sinead leads large-scale global projects, delivering high-impact solutions across disaster management, humanitarian support, climate action, mining, and tourism. Her leadership focuses on creating scalable collaborative solutions that brings together governments, communities, and the private sector to drive lasting positive change. Sinead, we are very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And finally, Amit. It's a great pleasure welcoming you, Amit. Amit Patjoshi is CEO of Palladium India. He's a proud Odia and a transformative leader. Amit has made it his mission to position the state as a national benchmark for inclusive and sustainable development. Thank you all of you for being here and making this happen. Anuji, starting with you, could you share with us your perspective on Odisha's 2036 and 2047 development goals?
Yeah, sure. So this has been a labor of love for all of us. And in the state, actually, across the country now, all states are developing their vision documents for 2047 when India turns 100. We had another special milestone, which was 2036. That's when Odisha turns 100. And so we made a combined vision where 2036 is the midpoint, and then we go up to 2047. And what we've set for ourselves is a very ambitious, kind of a very aspirational document. So Odisha presently is a $118 billion economy. And at present, we are 3% of the national GDP. We are hoping to take it to a $500 billion economy by 2036, at which point we are hoping we would be around 4% of the national GDP. And then to $1.5 trillion by 2047. And that time we are hoping to be 5% of the national figure. And in doing so, what we are hoping is that we will be improving the per capita, and we will be creating jobs. It is a huge goal that we have set for ourselves, which is largely based on three major pillars. Of course, prosperity for all is one of them, where, like all other states and any developing economy, you want more roads, you want more railways, you want more ports, you want more airports.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that, of course, is one of the pillars. And so we hope to triple the number of airports and double the railway network, and take our urbanization from, at present, it's only 17% to 40% by 2036 and 60% by 2047. But apart from that, the other two pillars are wellness. So wellness, so we want to increase the longevity of life. We also want to, things like anemia and or non-communicable diseases and all those, and nutrition for all, that kind of a thing. As also, the other one is inclusive development. While we want prosperity and the wellness of people, whatever we are planning must reach everyone, so we don't leave anyone behind. These are our three main pillars. And when I say that, what I basically mean is that multidimensional poverty index, which Niti Aayog takes out. As per that, we have been doing reasonably well. We have been able to bring out 66 lakh people out of the below poverty line, but we are hoping to take it down further. Or the regional disparities that are there in our state. We have many areas which are very difficult to reach. We have particularly vulnerable tribal groups. How do we ensure that we are able to, that whatever we are getting, the benefits of development actually reach them? Or let's say the FLPR, the female labor force participation rate, how do we increase it so that women take part in this? So this is the larger thing, and the cross-cutting theme across sectors which we have chosen as climate resilience, number one. Number two, women-led development. Number three, good governance, including IT initiatives.
Interesting. Could you also help us understand, what does it mean when you translate these goals on the ground when it comes to states' community-driven approach to development projects, and Odisha has been known for, its development project which are very community-led. Could you take us through, in the next, say, 10 to 20 years, how is that going to shape up?
So when we made this vision document, at that time also we have taken inputs. We had a portal on which common man of Odisha also gave their inputs. And they were very, very nice, from the heart type of inputs, which we have incorporated in the report, apart from numerous stakeholder discussions, etc. But coming to what is happening in the field, at every point we try to involve the community. So let us take the case of irrigation. In irrigation, we have what are called water user associations. Locally, we call them Pani Panchayats. And these are men and women who have some interest in that canal or in that tank or in that irrigation project. And they are the ones then who not only take up the repair wherever required, but in case there is a dispute, they are the ones who resolve the dispute also.
Okay.
Yes. And they are the ones who take up whatever else is required relating to that. How can we use that water optimally? This is one example. The second is the state has large number of women self-help groups.
Okay.
So we have 6 lakh involving 70 lakh women.
Wow.
Yeah. And we are utilizing those women for, activities which are stereotype defying activities. Ordinarily usually women were always either were given sewing work or pickle making and, which were very traditional. I'm not decrying those, very important. But at the same time, we are encouraging them to go house to house and do meter reading.
Okay.
We are encouraging them, giving them kits and asking them that if go and check the water quality and let us know. So they are going there as Jal Sathis and Jal Mitras and things like that. Or they are our banking correspondents. Or in hospitals, they are running the diets in the hospitals. So different roles we have given to community, utilizing them and utilizing their services in a manner which is mutually beneficial and which is good for the state. Or let's say in a campaign we had to conserve water. These women self-help groups were given a very small amount of money, but using that, they were the ones who themselves made so many water harvesting structures across the cities. And then we gave them a little bit more to maintain, and they are the ones who are also maintaining that. So, or slum dweller associations, we are using them, and they are part of our. They are helping us with they not only ideas, but they also help us in water harvesting structures or things like that, or resident welfare associations. So everywhere we are trying to include the community in any which way, so that it's a more, what should I say, balanced,
absolutely,
and involved development.
Absolutely. So going forward, you're going to see more of that. I'm pretty sure. Like as we go ahead to the 36 and the 47, we're going to see more activity on this front.
Absolutely, because since we have set such a huge target for ourselves, we cannot not involve anybody. We have to involve every single person. So all possible groups. So let's say in forest areas, we have what are called One Surakhya Samitis. These are the group of forest dwellers.
Yeah.
So they will be leading whatever activities are to be taken up to preserve the forests. So everywhere we have our little groups who will be helping in the whatever development activities are taken up, already taken up or likely to be taken up.
Very interesting. Amit, I'll bring you in here. The fact that you have been working in the rural areas and on the ground project. Now, how do you assess the success of the state? In terms of the experience in involving community in unlocking economic opportunities. Why? What was the core reason why Odisha has been able to tap that potential and
not just as the son of the soil, but I must echo what ma'am you said, as in one of the real reason I feel looking at certain global projects and the projects in India and the projects in Odisha government has made communities at the core and the driver of the program, not just the recipient. And what happened is that translated the driver being the owner of that program. Now you talked about the Pani Panchayat program and many such programs. Disaster management has on that fateful day of 1999 and where we are today. The self-help groups have transformed the program. So government made effort to make the community own the program rather than just doing a top-down approach. And there are many examples, man, you said, and I would relate on the examples which we are living as we are delivering under the Gates Foundation program, which we are delivering in Director of Horticulture. We could see a transformation of the smallholding farmers, APOs, directly exporting to end countries. It is not just producing, they're producing, they're sorting, they're aggregating, they're negotiating the market, they're making themselves market ready. And that's where Odisha has made a difference across sector, bringing of course, creating a beneficiary-led program, but not just as a recipient, but as the owner of that program. That has been successful. And ma'am talked about the self-help groups. We have such a large workforce which are working for the government for their benefit. And we as Palladium work in Etho, for example, we have an anecdote that we want to work in a forest, develop the forest, work on the communities we're working on the forest. Automatically the forest will be developed. And that's where I could see why it's always a saying that what works in India works for the world. I would say what works in Odisha works for the world too.
It's a very nice this thing. But would you say that, Amit, the reason why Odisha has been successful in this model is because it took a systems level approach to development? Is that something that has worked for Odisha very well?
Absolutely. As a development sector professionals, we always think of an ecosystem-based approach wherein outcome is we focus on outcome, create a system-level thinking. We are seeing a live example of it. And I was explaining about the APO ecosystem. We created an ecosystem when the APOs started exporting, but that's not the real story. The real story is that we left back, we took a back seat. They are now engaging the private sector, and they're bringing the private sector to support them in capacity building, to provide a supply chain ecosystem, and government is being a moderator. That's a fantastic story wherein a private sector is supporting the communities to grow and government is being just a moderator. As Honorable PM always says, the less the as government is, it is helpful. And recently, I think, ma'am, you were part of that program when Bill Gates came in, appreciating the digital public infrastructure, which Odisha is leading in these DPIs, exclusively using for the farmers so that they can take those extension services, weather advisory services. Private sector can know which produce what comes in, and government can use that data for effective decision making. That's where the beauty of the ecosystem-based approach and a futuristic thinking. Let's talk about our Koraput as an example. As in, when you think of stitching multi-sectors, whether a tourism or a livelihood and a mining, all together, keeping communities at the core, that would be a real transformation. And I'm so happy that state is moving, and I would definitely go through the Big Set, Odisha and CEC and see how we can again further contribute. And that's where the real reason lies in terms of stitching all the partners as equal stakeholders, and because every partner has a role to play to further overall transformation.
Anuji, given your administrative experience, what makes a systems-led program succeed on the ground? What has been your takeaway?
Yeah. So as one of the reasons, as even Amit mentioned, is community.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the community to participate and own up that this is their program. But apart from that, just general regular monitoring. And let me give you the example of we were all mentioning about disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1999 we had the super cyclone.
Yeah.
After that, in 2014 we had our next cyclone. After 99, then 2014, then 2018, and then 2019, 2020, 2021, and it just kept happening every year. On some occasions, even twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
On once, even thrice a year. We had a December cyclone as well. So 1999, and so in these so many years, we are seeing climate change unfolding
Absolutely.
Before us.
Absolutely.
And as a state, I think we get the burden, disproportionate burden, I call it, of weather vagaries. But having said that, we set for ourselves a mantra, which was zero casualty.
Okay.
Period. Zero casualty. So now it's like a well-oiled machine, where the moment we get the forecast that a cyclone is on its way, all the SOPs are set, institution is there, the OSDMA, that is the disaster, and so this institution is there, the SOPs are there, the mantra is there, which we have to abide by, and Honorable Chief Minister, the present Honorable Chief Minister, everybody, there is very high level monitoring in our state. Everyone, we do never take it lightly. So even if people say, oh, nothing will happen, we don't want to be shifted, we say, no, you have to be shifted, because we are not taking any chances. If a pregnant woman, her expected date of delivery, let's say, is during that period, plus minus 5 days also, we escort her and take her to the hospital. Lest on that day, a tree falls on the road and she's not able to be taken.
Absolutely.
So those are the things. And then community also is given training each time before the cyclone, that we know that these are the villages likely to be affected. This is the cyclone shelter. So at the point where when we tell you, you have to move with your bag, this, that, in those shelters, we know what is to be put. So I think, to answer your question more specifically, knowing what is to be done, having a structure. So we have this Odisha State Disaster Management Authority. Having your SOPs very clear.
Okay.
Top level and constant monitoring of the same without getting complacent. Focusing on the...
That's very important, yes.
And then taking the community along.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sinead, you have been listening in to this, and surely you'll agree that Odisha has many lessons to give to the world, in terms of the way it manages the development sector, the way it involves the community in development sector. Given the state's aspirations now, could you take us through some examples globally, where there's been an opportunity for transformation at a scale?
There are many examples, but I want to acknowledge that there are some things in this conversation which I've been really enjoying listening to that I think speak to the success that you're going to continue having with that ambition. The first is, in development, too often, as Amit said, you talk about the communities as beneficiaries. It puts them as a recipient, as a passive part of it. No, that doesn't work. You're not doing that. You're talking about them as an active participant, as an owner of their own fate. And that, I think, is a precondition to success. I've really enjoyed the focus on wellness and the ability or the desire to get to the hardest to reach populations. Too often there's an assumed trickle down rather than an active approach to who are they and how are they going to benefit from what you're going to do. And the third thing I want to call out is the mantra, because I think the simplicity of a mantra, too often you see long mission statements using big words that you can find a way around. Yeah,
really, I like the word mantra. It's very.
But a mantra,
absolutely,
is totally undebatable.
Absolutely,
and everybody gets behind. So I have. It's now clear to me why you've been successful before and how that's going to go. We have lots of examples where we've been privileged to be part of successful programs around the world. And when Amit and I were talking about it, the examples that we kept going back to were some of the examples in South America. And we use those examples, I think, for two reasons. One, because you see a lot of mining activity. And the second, they're blessed with the natural resources that you are around the forests. And there, I think what we're seeing is done well, similarly to the three elements that I highlighted. We're seeing a clear alignment around a goal and objective. Programs that we see done well bring in the government, they bring in the private sector, they bring in the communities around a goal and objective of, let's say, saving the forests. That involves in the work we do in Colombia, in Peru, and other places. It involves giving the people in the forests a livelihood from the forests, and the government supporting that and the private sector working with them. The other examples that I think come to mind are where countries are blessed with mineral resources. Often you see examples where those are extractive to nature, extractive to the communities. But when we look at some of the projects that we've worked in around the world, particularly in South America, you can see where they're additive, where the mining companies work hand in hand with government, they work hand in hand with the community, and they provide enterprise, they provide value chains, they provide education. And that, I think, in the case of Odisha, because you can do that with government and through government, you can do more of a system-wide approach. And that, to me, is where regions really take that step up.
Very interesting. How much of Sinead's observation resonates with you? Uh,
Oh, yes, I totally agree with her. I mean, as she's saying is, we need to take the private sector with us.
Mhm.
We need to take the community with us. And while mining can be extractive, the fact is that in any development economy, the balance between development and environment will always be there. But we have to see that whatever development we do is in a sustainable manner. And let me tell you, with this mining that is happening, we also take some funds from them.
Yeah.
So the miners are supposed to give funds for the local people, which is called a district mineral foundation.
Yeah.
So we have many of those, and we are using those funds to saturate villages in those areas with facilities which had not reached them for a long time, or which, because of these mining activities, have become kind of difficult for them. So we are trying to do all that, apart from trying to have more forestation there and things like that. But even from a purely people's perspective, we are trying to do that. So I totally resonate with what she's saying.
And if I may, I think
Sure.
it's differentiated that link to government, that the funding goes through government, because other parts of the world we see, you could use South America, you could use Australia, where the mining companies do some of that themselves under a banner of CSR, or they do it themselves with investment objectives. There's still a risk that what they do is disconnected to the state system. So they might provide an education capability, but if it's not connected to the state system, the children benefiting from that are not getting the same experience under the same regulations as children in the cities. Or health system, you could draw the same analogy. So
Absolutely.
I think that's a differentiated approach, which I think is very powerful.
Interesting. But Sinead, are there any scalable models, nature-based solutions?
Yeah.
Are there like a lot of the solutions we come across are very region-specific?
We have a project which I get in trouble every time I say one of my projects is my favorite. I have many favorites. But we have a project called Partnership for Forests, which we've been running for 7 years and have just been granted the next 7 years of that. It's an extraordinary project because it is providing a small amount of, well, it's a large amount of money, but when you think about the catalytic effect it has, it's a drop in the ocean. It's a project that's operating in over 10 countries around the world across the forest belt, South America, Latin America, into the Southeast Asia region. And what it does is it identifies forest-based enterprises that are working in harmony with the forests. We help and we coach those enterprises, working with the communities, to access finance. And then we leverage in private finance because there's a lot of private funding available for forests. So with an investment of around about 100 million sterling, we have mobilized 1 billion sterling in additional funding that makes those enterprises sustainable. And the money just keeps coming, and those communities are being transformed long after that initial intervention begins. And that to me is a case study on scalability and sustainability.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Nice.
Very interesting. Anuji, in terms of, when we talk about nature-based solutions and the enterprises, is the state also looking at going beyond the traditional skill sets? We have green jobs. We are talking about MSME clusters, digital economy, and which is something the central has been talking about a lot. Are there any sort of programs that you are working on, or which is looking at, say, connecting the communities, especially the youth, in terms of building those new skill sets?
Oh, yes. Yes, certainly we are. So for us, the mantra that we have for skilling is skilling in Odisha, skilling for the world.
Wow.
So what we want is that our boys and girls are skilled in a manner that not only can they get jobs here, but they can get jobs anywhere in the world.
Well.
I would request each one of you, in fact, to visit our World Skills Center, and we have many such.
We had the pleasure of being there today.
So we are trying to train them on various trades,
Mhm.
and not, as I mentioned, those traditional trades where every time boys and
Mhm.
girls were sent. And we are not only that, we are also trying to see that different types of people, again, reaching the unreached.
Mhm.
So, let's say in our ITIs,
Mhm.
we found that women were somehow not coming, girls.
Mhm.
So then we started a scheme, Sudakya, where we started, investing a little bit more when the girl students came.
Okay.
And we found that it increased from 6 to 30%, the girls' participation in those.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that too in trades which were traditionally never associated with
Okay.
women. Fitters, electricians.
Mhm.
And I will share a video with you at some point. We call them the Iron Girls of Orissa.
Okay.
Because in Keonjhar, these are girls who are running, those huge big machines.
Uh-huh.
They are actually driving those machines. They are using those machines, and
Interesting.
and breaking stereotypes. So we call them the Iron Girls. So we are certainly trying to get them into different trades and also the modern trades. So into AIML or things like that. Whichever new things are coming, we want our students to our boys and girls to get into.
Amit, you see a role for private sector in the engagement of the skill development, the ecosystem we are talking about in terms of the developing the whole entrepreneurial ecosystem. Especially with the communities taking ownership. What is the role that you see of private sector?
No, absolutely. In fact, rather instead of, I would share to as a live experience wherein we were executing a program of Sokalpa, wherein we were mandated to train 10,000 young entrepreneurs and create 1,000 of it. Our 25% would be of women. We reached almost 90, came back to 75. A major role was played by creating an ecosystem of 40 partners. While, of course, there are dreams of these young entrepreneurs, nano entrepreneurs there, but private sector played a role to be a catalyst in that. We had 40 partners from MISO, ONDC, Amazon, and various others who played a role as State Bank of India and few others bank. So as market access player, access to finance player and so on, so provided to those entrepreneurs that so that they can chase their dreams. And I'm really proud we had the event today to felicitate some of them, as in some of them have started earning almost 50,000 per month on average, started engaging 2 or 3 their peers, and in fact a lady also explained how I'm motivating others to be young entrepreneurs when we have, as an honorable PM is shifting his focus on employment to entrepreneurship. These are live examples, and I must say that these examples were not standalone to a sector. It is percolating to every sector. Man, you championed some of our program, the agriculture program we're doing in government. Odisha government is the first state to have a specific APO policy, but in Odisha government, Sumoto put a good amount of fund for APO promotion. Private sector pulled in money for skill development, for capacity development, for infrastructure. There are all these smallholding farmers because they have a skin in the game. They are looking for better produce. So it better spend there and get a better produce rather than running around bad quality. And that's where when we say private sector engagement, nothing comes for free. They are here because they see a value in it. And the more they add to create a better value, it's good for them. And there are so many such examples of that.
So definitely, we're going to see more of private sector participation in Odisha in terms of development goals going forward.
Absolutely. The kind of goals we have set for ourselves, clearly it is going to be led by the private sector. And we are very happy to see the kind of flow of industries that has been taking place in the state. We are next to Maharashtra in terms of the number of industries that are coming into a particular state. And the good thing is that earlier it used to be largely mineral based, given that we had so many mines. But now we are seeing that shift. So why those continue? But we are also getting textiles and apparel, we are getting petrochemicals, chemicals. So the number of and the variety, the range of private sector, with companies coming in is happening. And across sectors, we are hoping that we will be getting more private sector involvement.
Interesting.
Especially your term.
To add what we recently got a use case as in we are trying to see with the tariff setup coming in across India. There is a focus on inward industries, travel, tourism, and so on. So we are trying to understand whether the Sokalpa program worked well, and we got a use case from collector saying that can you make tourism at the center, focus your livelihood programs around it, bring in agroforestry, bring in all these additive industries you are referring, and create a model around it. It was quite exciting. Because it is not a single sector approach. They're talking about overall regional development, bringing all the players, which would have, of course, a private player connotation, government shaping that. It was very exciting to see the thinking pattern coming in, and we are also challenged that, okay, how exactly it would happen. When we're structuring the overall regional development program, it's not just a standalone program that we've created entrepreneurs. They have to have a market. There has to be enabling environment for the market to come in. Let's say, as in we have an abundance tourism potential in a district called Koraput, unpristine potential. It's a coffee value chain. We have 13 odd sites in Keonjhar map. They are mining district. Think of mining at not just an economic activity, that's an attracting power to bring in all those elements of livelihood, scale, like private sector coming in, making the overall digital development. So we're working on that, man. And I'm sure I'm excited for the research team is working and how exactly to touch upon connecting all of them. And that's where the power of, I would say, that ecosystem approach we are experimenting as Palladium, ma'am. When we say that what we actually do, we work for positive impact. When I was trying to imbibe that, and I said, what is positive impact? So I was given a small line that, okay, it is working at the midst of commercial growth and social progress. Wow, nice. And that's where we are excited to see what the outcome, and then as a son of soil, I'm very much so good see that purpose.
So that's your mantra, huh? Amit?
I've been driving since last 60 years to
Wow.
some beautiful organization, and of course,
To your state.
Sinead, especially the way, in a large-scale multi-stakeholder program, as Amit was referring to, aligning incentives is very critical.
Yes.
So what are your observations when it comes to, say, realigning incentives to ensure long-term community resilience, because different sections of the society will have different expectations from you.
They will.
So how do you sort of align that incentive? What's your experience in that?
I think our experience has been to get a goal and to be clear on the goal and to coalesce everybody around that. And early on in a program, we talk about, in many of our programs, we have something called a mutual accountability framework.
Okay.
You come in with an idea, but sometimes the communities don't know why you're there.
Exactly.
What are you trying to get out of it?
Yeah.
The private sector are there. What are they trying to get out of it? You have to build trust. You've got to build trust to understand what each person is trying to achieve, what each person is trying to get out of it, because we're all there for a reason, aren't we? So some of the projects that we have a very clear outcome focus where many of the parties only get a return when the outcome is achieved.
Okay.
And those will center around a mutual accountability framework that allows us all to hold each other to account for the goal, or now, as I'm going to call it, the mantra.
Anuj, what would be the next big priorities to sustain the development momentum at the regional level? Could you give us a sense of the thought, the direction that you have in mind, and especially, how confident are you that Odisha would be reaching $1.5 trillion economic mark by 2047? I know it's a tricky question, but
Yes. So let me put it this way, that actually the work has just begun.
okay.
So preparing the vision document was just the preliminary work.
Okay.
And actually, I tell all my colleagues, my entire team, that our work has started now. And it's going to be a huge task, but we are very confident that we will be able to achieve. Going forward, therefore, my biggest task, in fact, the entire team, is working on each of those. How do we go around and achieve?
Okay.
So to begin with, we have to build our capacities.
Yeah.
The same setup. Maybe we need a certain organizational system, SOPs, and as I was mentioning, a policy,
Exactly.
some incentives, building that trust. So many things, and a mantra maybe. So for each of these items that have been identified, we need to very aggressively establish the whole ecosystem and then move forward. Going forward, the state will continue to go for industrialization, but sustainable. Second, port-led development, because we have a 575-kilometer coastline, and at present we have only 3 ports, but we have many in the pipeline, and we need to also augment the capacity of the existing ports. Then, of course, the infrastructure, including roads, railways, this, that, and more importantly, the connectivity, which will further, for example, from port to the mines or things like that, so that we can, accelerate the growth. But then across things, we have to ensure climate resilience, because one cyclone comes. So if I'm setting up an electric ecosystem, I have to ensure that everything is climate resilient.
Absolutely.
Disaster resilient. So all that we have to factor in. And with that kind of growth that we have targeted, if I don't involve the women, if with 49% FLPR, I will not be able to achieve. I need to bring them into
the mainstream.
Into the mainstream.
Absolutely.
So that is going to be another very major thing going forward, which means that if I'm going to bring them to the workforce, I need to ensure safety and security for them. I need to ensure that they are educated. They must have the adequate skills, and the care economy supporting them should be there. Toilets, etc. in the offices. So many things have to be thought of. So we have a huge job in front of us. Very daunting sometimes, but we are confident that we will achieve.
So that's a very positive note to end the conversation, but of course I think we can go on. But maybe as a last round, from each one of you, what will it take to truly unlock Odisha's regional potential while keeping communities at the center? If what would be your mantra if you had to share that? And I would come to Sinead and to Amit also.
So I would feel sustainable development. Involving communities as partners.
Sinead?
For me, it would be flexibility. Because I think we all have to acknowledge that the world now is more volatile than it has been before. The crystal ball is cloudier.
Absolutely.
That's true.
So you've got an objective, but the pathway to the objective, I think, will be a windier road than we've had in the past. And that goes down to the people, to the resilience of the people and the adaptability of the people.
Absolutely.
Willingness to try things, fail fast, start again, try something new. I think that's what's going to define not just this state, but how everywhere.
Absolutely. Amit?
And of course, and Sinead have highlighted completely outcome-focused approach, a system-based approach, overall regional development approach that's where 3 mantras. And I would like to end my saying when I was explaining Sinead what's the tagline of various states. It's India's best kept secret. Time to unlock it.
Yes. Time to say that it is secret no more.
Great. Thank you all of you for this lovely conversation. I think we could have gone on, but it's lovely to have all of you here and here.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.